I'm Kate Gillet. I'm an artist, a visual artist, so I mostly do flat stuff like paintings, illustration, paper cuts, and I'm starting to play a bit with sculptures and things as well. It sounds a bit cliche, but it's true. Art's kind of like breathing for me. It just happens. I grew up without a TV, and I think that's had a lot to do with my relationship with art, in that I, as a kid, myself and my brothers spent hours and hours just drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing, and we've been lucky in that we grew up with parents who encouraged that and never said that's right or that's wrong, and we just went for it. So it's always been my way of expressing myself. In more recent times, probably for the last year or so, I've realised that this is what people are willing to pay me to do as well. So it's also my best skill, I guess. It's the best thing I've got to offer. So I've finally, after a few years of avoiding art as a career because I don't want to sell my soul, I've gone, okay, I'm gonna actually fully commit to this and really give it a go. And it's amazing how opportunities have really just sort of flowed in since I embraced that idea and decided to do what I actually really love. Art is an individual language that everyone can relate to, in that anyone can do art. It doesn't have to be good. You don't have to have it within the realms of judgment. It doesn't have to be good or bad. No one else has to like it. You can just do it because it feels good. And I'm really passionate about art as a medium for self-discovery and growth as well. I think it's a really safe and playful and fun medium for that. And I love that everybody gets something different out of looking at art or participating in it. It's a way of expressing yourself, and also a way of other people gaining something from it. So it's just this wonderful language. Well, recently I did a poster for Denmark Art's Brave New Works Festival, and it was the first time I'd seen my work on t-shirts and on posters and on postcards, and I just kept looking at it and going, wow, that's me! I felt really proud of that. And another moment which was really beautiful, when a few years ago I was travelling and I was in Israel, and I found myself one day at a table outside someone's house with about 6 guys, young guys in their 20s, and they'd all been through the army. They were really tough dudes, and I had my pencils and my paper with me, and I was sitting around at this table, and these guys were just wanting to draw with me, and you know, oh, how can I draw this, and how can I do this, and how can I found myself naturally working with them to bring that out of themselves, and I found that's something that comes naturally too. I'm working on my business at the moment. So at the moment I'm working on getting a website happening, and business cards printed, and all of getting my head around the financial and legal side of running a business. Mm-hmm. And at the same time I'm working on my art, so I'm doing a bunch of stuff for myself. Yeah, I've got visions of having a few exhibitions, little ones, and also a big one, and also stuff for other people. I've got a fairly constant stream of requests. So for instance, I've just done a wedding invitation for a friend, and stuff like that. Ultimately, in 5 years, I'd love to be living off my art, and I'd like to be at the point where I'm able to give my skills back to the community in a way as well. Hopefully I have maybe a kid on my hip and I'll be painting at the same time, and making enough to be doing what I love, still be passionate about it. Yeah. Art's my process of sorting out what's in my head most of the time. So I'll go for a long walk and often come up with a million great ideas in the middle of the walk and have to rush home and start drawing. Best bit of advice is probably to follow your heart. I deliberately ignore anyone with doubts or any doubts about whether this is possible or not. I genuinely believe that if you follow what you really love, you'll be motivated enough to work hard to get there. I finished school and left home, and Albany seemed really boring at that point, so I moved up to Perth for a while. But I've come back since, and after some time away I've really noticed the benefits of being here. And living in a smaller community and also in Denmark for a while is really actually wonderful, because there are connections, people know each other and network. There's more of a sense of community and wanting to build and support each other in an artistic community rather than trying to compete. My journey with my art is just beginning in many ways. As a business, it's definitely just beginning. I know that art's a difficult business to actually make a successful career out of, money-wise. And people keep saying that to me, but I'm sort of holding on to my naivety, if that's how you say it. I'm just sort of shooting for the stars with it, and finding that by following my passion, it's all working for me. So I've grown in confidence that following what you love is a really viable way of getting somewhere in life. And I find that I'm really motivated to work really hard and do the business side and the financial side and all that stuff that I'm not so interested in. I'm really motivated with it because I love what I'm doing. So yeah, it's sort of brought me more, it's made me more whole.